That's just crazy beautiful, just wow. This is Malou, sailing somewhere on the seven seas. And this is me, her captain, trying to steer out into the unknown to be able to find that one very special spot. Consider subscribing and welcome on board. So I've been contemplating whether or not to sail on the inside of this next big island, because it's not a very big passage and it's like more or less the same distance to go if you go on the outside or the inside, but I guess it's more beautiful to go on the inside. So now when the swell is coming, bigger swell, and I thought it was coming from southwest, it's actually a better option to go on the inside, because now I'm going straight with the swell instead of going with the swell coming in from the side, and quite light winds as well. Now the wind is also coming in from a better angle, a little bit more from the side than it would if I would be heading on the outside of the island. Getting into this sound here, that's gonna lead me north, and this sound, it's actually called by the Vikings, I think it was called like Nordveg, and that is the word where the name Norway, the country name Norway, actually comes from. I read this like a week ago, so I hope this is true facts now for all you Norwegians out there. But this way that goes here on the west coast of Norway is called Norveg because it's like a protected inland way where the Vikings were traveling up and down the coast all the way without having to be exposed for the ocean more or less at any time, which is quite unusual on these kind of latitudes. I've been having a little bit hard time to fill out the Genoa all the time while sailing in here, but the sea state is coming down a little bit now, just following this sound. So now it seems like I can sail a little bit better. Not too fast, but at least a little bit more stable. According to the Windex on top, I could most likely put up the main right now and do like another knot or so, but it's always in these kind of situations you're like, oh yeah, let's put up the main, and you're putting down some effort putting it up, and you're starting sailing, like, yeah, this is going real good, and then like 5 minutes later the wind always turns in some kind of way, and you're like, just sails are flapping, nothing is going your way, and you're like, ah, damn it, I should just have kept the Genoas. So I'm probably just gonna keep the Genoa. The further I get into the sound, the lighter the winds get. So I want to make some breakfast as well. I put on this light wind sail that I made that I show you in the video with the Gorilla Tape and all that. I'm gonna put that on the wind vane to see if it can actually steer quite straight in these kind of wind conditions. It's a little bit hard for the wind vane right now because we're surrounded by islands. Wind is not super sustainable, but hopefully it's gonna be able to keep quite steady course. So unfortunately that doesn't seem to work. The winds are just too light and just shifting around too much, so there's no consistency for the wind rudder to actually be steering with any kind of wind, and the autopilot is not working that well. I have to take a look at that later, but I really need to make myself some breakfast, so I have to figure that out somehow. While we're going so slow, I'm gonna have a look to see if I can catch any fish or something. Fishing line, that should be fine. There we have the whole thing that's gonna go in the water. I'm hoping for some mackerel or maybe coalfish or something similar to that. There's more or less no wind at all. There's mountains over there that's sheltering as well. So I'm gonna turn on the little silvery monster, let it run for a while until we get past this sound. It's like another 10 miles or something like that until we get up in a little bit more open area where we we'll hopefully get more wind to be able to sail. We're passing Haugesund right now. Seems like a pretty nice town, but I don't feel like I want to go there, to be honest. It's just like, when I thought about Haugesund, I was just like, oh yeah, maybe I should go there, but after a while I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna keep sailing and head north, because now I'm starting to get some breeze again here, and as soon as I get clear from the islands out here, I'm probably going to be able to sail real good. So that's the goal for today. First time I'm sailing butterfly style with this boat. Only one wing at the moment though, but spinnaker pole is out. We're going real smooth, real nice, leaving Haugesund behind us, slowly but steady, and hopefully we're gonna get more and more wind as we get further away from land. And at the moment I think I might be sailing during the night as well, because it looks like we're gonna get really nice wind. So maybe not, we'll see what happens. I was just gonna take in the line now, because I thought there was no way I'm gonna get in fish, but now I actually think that I have a fish on. Come, fishy, fishy, fishy. There is something silvery down there. I'm really eager to see what kind of fish this is. If it's a mackerel or if it's a codfish. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's... No! I was too slow. Oh wow, look at this. Only one little hook left and a big mess here. Damn. I think that fish was on for quite some time. Well, I need to put a new tackle on that eventually, but for now let's just let it rest and just keep some focus on the sailing. Since it's the first time that I'm using this whisker pole, I'm gonna put some Gorilla Tape around it where it's wearing around the stays, so it's not gonna wear down too much on the actual aluminum part of the pole. This big blank space over here is the entrance to the huge Hardangerfjord. It would be really nice to go in there and maybe like hike up on some of these mountains up here, but I might have to do that some other day when I'm sailing south in the spring or something like that. I got some really perfect sailing at the moment, just following winds, following seas, blowing about, I don't know, like 8 or 9 meters per second, and we're averaging 5.5 knots the last few hours. And the mainland, the westland of Norway, is just flying by on a good distance for sure. Waves are pretty big, but not too much. No splashes or anything like that coming into the boat. Just nice and calm sailing basically, and wind rudder is steering quietly and super stable, so I think I'm actually going to be able to get some sleep tonight as well, which is well needed after a full day like this. Look at that. That's so crazy. It's northern lights when I'm out sailing. Oh, wow. Just look at this. It's just dancing around on the sky. Wow. I've seen northern lights quite a few times in my life, but never went out sailing. And I thought I would see it this winter up in northern Norway, but now in September here in the southwest of Norway just blows my mind. That's just crazy beautiful, just wow. That was some really hectic minutes there for a while. I turned on the engine to just roll in the genoa and switch the side of the boom because the wind was turning quite a bit. And after I did that, that went well and everything. And after I did that, suddenly there started to just dance so much more northern light on the sky, like amazingly much. So I brought out my camera, started to film, started to take photos, and then suddenly there was backing in the genoa and it was just flapping all around the place, and there was wind blowing like crazy, and I was just like, what's happening? And I just like dropped the camera and went back to the wind vane and looking at what's happening, and the wind vane wasn't steering, and I don't know, I got the boat back on course, but then I found out that there was like a little thing on the wind vane, like on the wind catcher, that was like connecting to the steering rudder, which had like kind of flipped up so just had to put it back down again so it got connection to the rudder so it could steer again. So now we're back on course, everything's good again, the northern light is dancing on the sky, and I think the big moon is soon coming up as well. So I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but the sky here, it looks more or less exactly like a painting. It doesn't look real at all. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's real. And then you have the mountains and everything. It's insane. Wow. Last night first with all the stuff going on and the northern lights, and now this. I don't know. Am I going crazy or what's happening? I managed to sneak inside of these islands right here. And now the sea state is way better than it was outside. Like outside there was kind of big swell everywhere. It's still good, I was still making good speed, so no problem at all, but in here I'm still making almost the same speed, but the sea state is way smoother, and I can just sit back and relax and just have a look at this amazing environment around here. Like there's houses on more or less every one of these islands. Like there's no, I don't know if there's any ferries going here or anything like that, but there's no bridges or anything like that, but there's still quite a few houses. So I don't know if there's people living all year round here, but it wouldn't surprise me at all actually. It's such a cool area actually. People just stick outside to the coastline and refuse to move in to the bigger areas. That's awesome. So good. Now you might be wondering why I'm only using the genoa when going like poled out to the side, when I could use the main as well on the other side of the mast. But it's basically because I'm sailing solo and I want to keep it safe and simple. So when I'm not keeping watch, like in the middle of the night when the wind rudder failed for a while, then that could have ended in a disaster if I would have the main up as well, with things breaking and whatnot. So I'd rather sacrifice a little bit of speed and instead have a little bit more just safety and have it a little bit more easy and comfortable, but slightly slower boat. I'm actually a little bit surprised about the whole archipelago here. So for example, where we're coming now into this fjord right here, it's like 200-300 meters deep here, and then all of a sudden it's super shallow in this big area right here. And I didn't think there was going to be this many shallow areas here on the west coast. I thought it would be mainly just deep fjords and quite deep coastline, but along the coast here is a lot of shallow areas as well that you need to watch out from. So quite similar to the west coast of Sweden actually. I am almost falling asleep, sitting up now, but it's not that far left. It's only like 1.5 hours or something like that. But I've been out now for, I don't know, like 35 hours, something like that, sailing. And I have slept, I don't know, not much at all, like maximum 2 hours or something like that. in total. So I am quite exhausted, and I think as soon as I have docked the boat, my body is just gonna be just done, basically. But that's not strange, I think. Slowly but surely entering the little harbor on this island called Frøya. It's a quite large island. Then you got there even bigger island with a big fjord inside of it, which is supposed to be really nice as well. I mean, all fjords around here is probably really nice, but I'm probably gonna go a little bit into that fjord eventually. But now I'm gonna crash on my bed, not in the dock, hopefully.